Stitchy friends, it's Mary, the Daydream Stitcher. This is my summer June, July Stitchy update. It's been a couple of months since I last checked in with my goodies, and I'm here to fill you in with what I've been doing. This is July the 17th today, and I'm filming in a different location. I'm in my living room right now, just because of lighting and being cooler and all the things. So hopefully this works, we'll see. Thank you to all who have stuck with me. Thank you for all of your comments in the last video. If you are returning or if you are new, thanks for coming by today and checking me out and seeing what I have to show you. I hope you enjoy what I've got to show. I have a couple of finishes today. Yes, you're on the right channel. Do not adjust that dial. I do have more than one finish to show today, so let me get right to it. I'm so excited because this is unusual. If you're new here, I don't usually have finishes on a regular basis. So this is my first one. This is a gentle needle from Monticello Stitches. This is charted as a gentle needle soothes the restless heart, but Jean had made a mention on one of her, she's the designer behind this, she had made a mention on one of her videos about it would make sense to stitch anxious heart. And so I decided to go with that, and I reached out to her and she sent me the lettering for it. And she had charted it this way, so that's what I did. So it is completely finished. It is stitched on 2/2 with DMC, called for DMC, on a mystery fabric, which I know is a 28 count even weave, and it's a very heavy fabric, so I don't know what it is, but it's perfect for this piece and I love it. So that is my first finish. So I stitched on an ornament for Cross Stitch Camp. So Cross Stitch Camp is Colorado cross stitcher. Every summer she does what's called Cross Stitch Camp, where each month, June, July, and August, she chooses a theme, and we start the piece in that month and hopefully finish the piece in that month that includes that theme, and then she will enter you for a drawing if you finish that piece within that month. And I did do June this year, and I did finish this. In fact, Gentle Needle was Cross Stitch Camp 21 for June, which I did not finish it within the month. That was a little too ambitious for me. But I did manage to do, for June 23, I finished this ornament here, piece. The theme was Stitch on Something with a Bird. So I did start and finish this one. And then this one I started and almost finished. It's not quite there yet. It still needs the beading and the crynic. But this one has beads and crynic. This is part of a 9-part, well, it's not a series per se, it's released as one. So there are 9 different pictures, ornaments, called Blue Ornaments, funnily enough, by Joan Elliott. This is a picture of what it looks like, I'll put here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I use Blanc, which is actually what it's called for on that dove. And I felt like it looks a little dingy on this fabric because this is a bright white fabric that I chose, which is I don't know if it's 28 count or 32 count. It's an even weave that I grabbed out of my stash. So I've got to figure that out because I want all the ornaments to match. I am doing the hashtag with my lovely friend Amanda, 50 ornaments before 50. So I want to get those done before I turn 50. I want to get 50 done, which means I really need to step on it. I always want to stitch ornaments and then I don't stitch them, because I get my eyes focus on the bigger pieces, and which I don't finish those either. But anyway, I do get the ornament. I do want to get ornaments done to hang on my tree. So I'm gonna have to do them at probably about. I'm gonna aim for 10 a year, which we're halfway through the year, and this is the first one I've finished so far this year. So I gotta get busy on that. And then I have a third finish to share with you. This is a Soda Stitch pattern from, well, the hashtag was my first Soda Sal, which has become for me my first Soda Finish Sal because I have other Sodas. It's not my first Soda start. But Amber of Rogue Mama Stitcher, Jordan of Tattoo Stitcher, and Bernadette of Burn Stitches started this hashtag to encourage people to go ahead and start a Soda, because a lot of people, I guess, were saying that they wanted to, and they look so much fun and so happy and cheerful. And so it really was successful. A lot of people were stitching this, and the one that they chose, it could be anyone, but they chose to stitch this one called Clean Day. And Clean Day's done. finally, she's been done for about a week now, and I don't think I've posted her yet on Instagram or my album of finishes. So, but this is her, and she's done. And she stitched on a 14 count white Aida, which is just something I pulled from my stash. I had a bunch of this left over after my cross stitch club that I did last year with the kids. And so I thought this was a perfect thing. I love Soda stitched on 14 count Aida. There's something about it to me that it's reminiscent of the kind of cross stitches that I did often when I was a teenager. And I just feel like they just look really good on that. I love them on the colored too, but I tend to reach more for white for the Sodas than I do any other designer, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, but I do like that. This is a bit of a finish, not a finish, but I consider it a triumph of my own personal doing because I finished the skirt in Mary Mary Needleworker. So the skirt is done and the boots are done. I went ahead and put the boots in, they're fully finished. The trim on the skirt is done here, and that monstrous skirt is finally finished, and I'm excited to go ahead and get started on the accessories. That shouldn't be quite such a big deal as the skirt. So it's a relief, as some of you know, for me to have that skirt finished. That color is beautiful, isn't it? That's Seafoam from Weeks Dye Works, which is the called for color. This is called Chris's Bonbons, or the boots, which are Weeks Dye Works as well. And then Blanc is the white. So I will continue working on this. This is the called for fabric called Bramble. It's a 32 count linen from Picture This Plus. And that pattern is from Lindy Stitches. I think this is the only pattern I've ever purchased from Nashville Market, like right when it came out. As soon as I saw it, I pre-ordered it because it just seemed like it was made for me, right? All right, this is this picture. This is a full coverage from a designer called Chameleon XS on Etsy. And she does her own, I know there's a lot of concerns about buying pictures like this to cross stitch from Etsy, and I get it, I'm the same way. But this designer is also a painter, and she has painted all of the pictures that she then converted into cross stitch. So this is her own design from start to finish, and this is where I am on it. I love this painting when I saw it, or this cross stitch I should say, when it popped up on Facebook. Actually, I think I found it through I think I saw another one, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I saw it, and so I love it. And it's huge. I mean, I think it's going to take up most of this fabric, which is why I started so close to the margin. So again, I did not leave myself room there, but I'm excited about it. I love stitching on this. It looks like it's all one color probably on this video, but it's many colors. It is 310 black, but also there's a lot of dark navies, and it will get progressively lighter as it gets to the moon. I love it. I really like stitching on it when I get into the groove. I really find that I enjoy stitching the solid, blacks and navies. I did get off here somewhere. I'm using Pattern Keeper. I don't know what I would do without Pattern Keeper, but I still somehow managed to mess that up. So I went back over here and I got back on track. I know where my middle starting point is. And so that's why I came over and I filled in I tried to make a block there. And that's why I have that like that. And so then I will be able to get back on track with that, because it won't matter, obviously, with the night sky. Like, I could have all sorts of stitches wrong, or, the colors mixed up in the night sky, and it won't matter. But once I get to the moon, I'm worried that it will matter, because you know how when like if you're scanning something on the flatbed scanner and it gets bumped and then it prints out like this, like a stair step kind of thing. And so that's not the kind of moon that I need. I do not need to be stitching a moon that looks like it got bumped on the scanner. That's how I think of it. So I am eager to make sure that that is lined up once I get to that moon. And then the sky and the water really isn't going to make all that much of a difference. So, and then I'm stitching that on a 25 count 1/N with DMC. I'm excited because I'm trying to put things on this board. Oops, that's the wrong one, actually. I'm trying to put things on the board, this foam board, but I see that I'm sticking it on crooked. So those of you who happened to catch my last video, I did gush a lot about Jane Eyre in my last one. I am still in that Bronte mode when I'm needing to escape reality. I am going to the British moors in the 19th century literature. And to those of you that may not be familiar, I'll put a picture of the mood that I am trying to capture when I say that. This is where can I just go live? Can I go live in a Bronte novel? That sounds so romantic, but then I'm like, well, the reality is it probably wouldn't be that great, but we're going to pretend it would be great. And this is where I am on Jane Eyre. I am doing this piece from Modern Folk Embroidery. I am no bird. And what can I say about it? I decided to go with the black instead of the red, like I had mentioned. I am doing it in black as charted because Jacob is the master. Jacob knows what he's saying, or what he's doing, rather. He does know what he's saying too, but when he charts, he knows what he's doing color-wise. And I'm stitching it on 32 count linen called Ancient from Picture This Plus. This seems to work. I kind of like going on this side better. And 2/2, 310 DMC. So here is my Dimensions Japanese bridge that I stitched on. Move it up this way. This is a Dimensions kit. This is on the call for fabric with the included fabric and the included flosses. And I stitched some more on the trees over here, filling in some of the sky and starting to come in here and put the pink into the other trees on this side, the twins. I do leave my flosses hanging on my kits, particularly my Dimensions kits, because over the years I've had an issue, over the past 10 years I should say, I've had issues with getting replacement floss from Dimensions for the kits. It used to be not a problem at all. It used to be really great, but since they sold to a different company, I have not had good experience. In fact, I have a couple of kits, stocking kits actually, that are just on hold until who knows when, because I haven't been able to match up the DMC. The floss that's supposed to match the DMC color does not match, and it drives me crazy, so I can't use that. Here's my Death by Cross Stitch from Long Dog Samplers. Since I last showed it on my video, I finished page 1 and page 2 completely, including the border. I decided not to take it off my Q-snap, but the border's all done on this side, so this page and this page are complete. I'm starting on page 3 over here, and the last week I've been filling in this border here and working down here. And this page is page 5, I believe, down here. I think it's 4 pages across, and it's almost done. So I just have to finish that, and then that page 5 will be done. That'll be 3 whole pages done. This page is almost done, or these are 2 pages, or part of 2 pages, but I still have to fill in the beak. But I'm getting there, and I love it. This is my go-to piece that I pick up when I just need some easy stitching. Well, I say easy, I definitely have to pay attention, but I love having the one color to stitch from. This is PR124 from Silks for You, and this is on a 25 count. Yeah, 25 count antique white, even weave Lugana. I haven't been very good about updating Instagram every day because I have been stitching every day, and I haven't been very good about updating it. But I did recently share my progress with this piece, which was a birthday start for me. And when I show this on here, it's gonna look a little wonky because some of the pieces, some of the back stitching on it needs to be straightened up, and I just plopped it in on this board, so I am aware of that. If it does look like the staff lines are crooked, they will be fixed when I go to frame it. I can fix all of that. This is called A Medley of Composers, and it is from an old book called Let the Music Play by Stony Creek. Old. I mean, it was a book I bought when it's from 1995, and I've had it since then. I bought it when it came out. It's not that old, right? Not that old. But yeah, so it's got a bunch of different things in it, and but this is my favorite one. This is it here. Let the Music Play, and it's this medley of composers. And the booklet includes these as well. and I really love it. So this piece of music, I've had people ask, in fact, my friend Stephen Rivenhain was just asking on Instagram, what song is that? Can you read that song? Can you read those notes? Are they actual music? Do they make a tune? And yes, I can read music, and yes, they do make a tune, and yes, I can read it on here. But I wouldn't have been able to tell. I would have been able to say, I know that tune, but I couldn't tell you what it's from. And a year or so ago, when I shared this as a birthday restart, a kind viewer filled me in. I think a couple of people might have even told me what it was. And so it is called the Troubadour Song from Carmen, which is an opera from Bizet. But the ironic thing is that they did not put Bizet's name on this piece. Is that unfair, or is that unfair? So I don't know if I'm going to try to go to the trouble of charting it, or whether I'm just going to let it be, and because I kind of don't think he's going to care at this point, but I don't know. But yeah, so that tune, if you want to hear the real thing, like sung by a real singer, look it up. I feel like it's a drinking song, but it sounds like that type of thing, but I don't know. I'm not an expert in opera by any means, not even close. But that answers that question, and I can't take credit for being able to name it. One of the things that I've been stitching is my Soda Stitch treehouse. Summer treehouse. Here it is. I've made a little bit of progress since my last video, and I still have about halfway to go because I still have the tree trunk. I still have to do all this down here. There's more accessories and things to stitch, and I love it. It was my 25/7 piece, but I haven't been stitching on it every day lately because I've had so many other things I wanted to stitch, and I've just been busy. So there's another floss tuber by the name of Mary who goes by Magnolia Stitcher. She's in Mississippi, and she also stitches a lot of Soda Stitch. And she started a hashtag treehouse, Soda Treehouse Sal. So she started the summer one as well, and we'd love to have you join us and use that hashtag on Instagram. And you can stitch any of the seasons, hopefully all of them. They were not available for a while, and Amber so kindly sent me all 4 patterns to borrow. So I need to get them stitched up so I can send them back. But they are now released back on Etsy again to purchase, and I did purchase the summer one to support the designer, and so I will purchase the rest of them as well. So I'm stitching actually from my purchased one, and I put Amber's away safe because I need to get those back to her. But thank you again, Amber, for sending those to me and letting me use them. And then, and this is stitched on Nessie by Picture This Plus, the 32 count linen. And then I was invited to be part of a round robin by my friend Amber again. And she invited me to join this Soda Stitch round robin, which is led by the fearless Kitschy Whips, Maggie. And she's also on Flosstube, but hopefully you all know her as well. And she brought us into this round robin. I've always wanted to do a round robin, and I used to do them with rubber stamping, but I could not figure out how to make it work for cross stitch. I know a couple of you I've asked in the past about a round robin, and then we couldn't figure that out, and some people didn't know what that was, and so she knows how to do it, thank goodness. And so what happened was they chose a picture with 6 different girls. This is pinup girls from, again, Soda, and we each have our own fabric. We're gonna start the first girl on our own fabric, stitch her, and then send her to the next person in the chain, the roundabout, and then they will stitch the second one. We will get the first girl piece from the person that sends to us, and then I will stitch, we will stitch that person, and so on. So you get the point. So Jamie sends hers to me, I stitch on hers, then I send off to Maggie, and that's the assembly line. And then they each have their person that they send to, and then eventually, hopefully after several months, we will get back our piece. And I'm trying to keep up with it. I think every month we're supposed to be sending it on. So I'm almost done. I started early on her because I knew that it was going to take me a while, and I'm almost there. So this is where I am with my girl. I call her Spa Girl. I don't know. She's sitting in front of the tub on a pillow with a bottle of lotion or perfume or something. And I just love her. I love how saturated she is. A couple of the ladies are changing hair color and skin color to kind of more match theirs or to make more diversity, which is awesome. And they're doing such a beautiful job. I highly recommend that you check out their channels. There's also Bernadette from Burn Stitches, Jordan at Tattooed Stitches. I mentioned Kitschy Whips, Maggie, Amber at Road Mama, and Jamie at Teeny Weeny Stitches. I think that's it. So I know Jamie and Amber and Bernadette all converted their girls to different hair colors. They look great. I kind of wish that I had done mine that way too, but I didn't really consider it, and then it was talked about after I had already started her. So I might convert some of the other ones to look more like me. We'll just see. We'll see where I am when I get there. So I just have to finish off the pillow and get my name stitched in, and then I can send it off to Maggie. Amber had the wonderful idea to stitch our names under each girl that we stitch so that we know who stitched who. And so I have to do that now. When I got the fabric for this is called Illusion, and it's dyed by Mystic Fabrics, who is online. It's a purple and green. And so I was coming in from back into my state from up north, and I was passing the exit to my LNS. My LNS is 90 minutes north of me, but I still consider that close. You know, I know a lot of you don't have an LNS even that close, so I don't complain. But I was coming back on the interstate, and I was passing the exit, and I was deciding, do I go in? It's 10-15 minutes from the exit into town. And I decided, you know what? I knew that this was coming up. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get myself a custom cut piece of fabric for this thing, and not just buy the generic fat half. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I thought, I needed an excuse to go into my LNS, right? So I went in. I found this one under the 32 count almost immediately. My daughter actually helped me pick it out. Popped out at us. It's so pretty. And I gave my measurements to Tammy. She's the lady there that does the fabric. She's wonderful. She will cut your fabric however you want, and then she also serges it for no extra charge. So I gave her the measurements of my piece. She added 2 for finishing, 2 inches, you know, to give me some extra room. And I think at that time we hadn't discussed the names, or I just didn't think about it, so I didn't really allow much room. Again, I'm seeing a theme emerge in this one about how I'm not allowing enough margin in my pieces. It seems to be a common reoccurrence, so we'll see what happens with that. Which is funny that I'm restitching the Composer's one because I didn't allow enough margin. I didn't talk about that, did I? I'm restitching it because I had stitched it years ago, literally to the edge of a piece of fabric. So that's why I was redoing it. So I see that I haven't really learned my lesson. Now it's funny, when I got this piece cut, it's going to be this nice long piece. I wish I had made it a little bit taller. But I was thinking to myself, one of my dilemmas in my head to overthink was, do I want to pay more to have a custom cut? Because of course, getting a custom cut fabric is going to cost more than if I just buy the regular cut like they have it, the standard sizes, you know, that they have like at 1, 2, 3 Stitch or wherever, or you go in there and you just say, I want a fat half. So, but I decided, you know what, it's worth it. I will pay for the custom cut because how often I hardly ever have things cut a certain, you know, special size. And I thought, well, I'm going to do it this time and go for it. So when I went to ring up, it came in way under what I thought it would be. I mean, granted, I'm used to spending a lot of money when I go there, but I was like, did you get everything? Are you sure that's right? And she said, yeah, you don't really have that much. All I had was the fabric and a couple of flosses and some beads. And I said, but what about, did you get the fabric? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, well, doesn't it cost more for the custom cut? And she's like, no, you only got this much fabric. I mean, I'm saying that like she was being rude. She was not being, she's being very, very nice about it. But she said, you only got this much fabric. And it's, you know, you didn't get that much. And so then I'm like, oh, I should have gotten more. I should have just gone and gotten more. Especially because Magnolia Stitcher, who I mentioned earlier, she just showed this fabric on her channel in a recent video that she's stitching a birth sampler on. And I was like, oh, I have that fabric. That's the one I got at the store. And she mentioned that it was a fabric of the month from Mystic Fabrics. So that's probably, I had tried to find it online to show a picture of it to someone, and I couldn't find it anywhere online. So that's probably why, because it was a limited edition. So when I go back to Brick City, I'll see if they have any more of this, and I will get more. That's my stitching. I have a couple of goodies I want to show you that I acquired since my last video. I don't have all of it here, but it's most. And I did buy quite a few PDF patterns off of Etsy on sales and things like that, but I'll show those as they come up in my videos when and if I start them, instead of, showing you PDFs that I put into my files. I got this bag from Stitch and Piece that I often mention. Love her bags, so I do collect them from now and then when I see one pop up that I really like. This is the 13 by 13, and I just got this one in the mail. I really love the colors on it, and I love the cottage core look. My daughter saw it, she opened it in the mail, and she was like, "This looks like old lady fabric." I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like, I want it to look that way. I like it. I love it. That's the look I was going for. So, and I love her bags. I know I talk about them a lot, and I know my friend Mary at Mary Stitches Stitching Corner, I got her hooked on them, and I sent her one, and now she's been buying them herself. So I'm like, I told Beverly, who's the lady that makes these, I told her that. I was like, I'm sending you customers, but I don't officially like endorse them or anything, because I do buy these myself at full price, and I just love them, and that's why I'm sharing them with you. And I love the way that they stand up in my basket. They fit in my basket perfectly, and they keep everything very compact and lined up. Collected a couple of more kits that I want to show you. This is one that kept popping up on Amazon for me over the past few months. This is called Bucks County Farm Stand. I just love all the vegetables. I've been wanting to find something lately that I stitch vegetables on, and fruits and things like that. And so I love the farm stand and the autumn foliage back there behind. That whole feeling of being... So Bucks County is in Pennsylvania here in the USA. My sister actually lives in Bucks County now, and she lives and works on a farm up there. And we've been up to visit, and it's beautiful. And we have some family up there, other family as well. And so anyway, I was looking at this, I had it on my wish list, and I ended up buying a kit a while ago on eBay as used. Now it does look used, but I do not think it's even been fully opened. I think that it came apart here, and then they were trying to tape it up with Scotch tape, but I think it's actually still glued together in some places, like from the factory. I don't think it's ever been taken out of the plastic, and it's got all the pieces in it. I mean, I'm able to see the charts in there and everything. So that's from Janlin, and also it's from, I believe it's a 90s kit. It has a Hobby Lobby sticker on it for $37.99. I think I got it on eBay for like $8, including shipping or something like that. So that was a real bargain. And then this is a Stitcher's Verse from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. This was shown on my friend Amber's channel, again with the enabling, and she had a finish of this recently, and it was so beautiful. She personalized it to herself. She put it on purple fabric, purple hearts. She took out some of the kind of vintage or old-fashioned looking things. And this is one that I normally would have passed up probably now and said, oh, I like it, but I won't have time, probably for that one. But the way that hers turned out, it looks so good and so beautiful that I just went right away to look and find it. And what I found on eBay actually was a kit. And so I don't know if I will use this fabric and this floss, but it was I think around $5. So I got it, and obviously, go to her Instagram and her Flosstube, and you'll see her finish if you haven't already. It's beautiful, and it looks updated. And then this kit is from Miola's. It's called Night Park, and I got this actually as a gift on Mother's Day from my own mother. What does that tell you about my mom? It's been on my wish list, and so I had to work on this past Mother's Day, and then afterwards, every Mother's Day, there's a tradition here in my city where the Florida Orchestra plays a Pops concert outside at sunset on the waterfront, and it's a really lovely evening. And so that's what I ask for every Mother's Day, is to go as a family to that concert. And so I was able to take along a couple of my kids and my husband, and we went, and my mom didn't feel like driving up for it, so I didn't get to see her that day, but I talked to her on the phone, and I sent her a gift card for her dog, so she could get some things for her puppy. And when I got home from the concert, there was a package from Amazon on my front porch, and it turned out to be this, and it was from my mother, that she had gone and looked at my wish list on Amazon and sent me that. And I think probably what what she likes about it was the little orange and white dog there, which looks kind of like a corgi or something. But her dog is orange and white, and his name is Jasper. He's a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and he's absolutely adorable and pampered and loved. And so I'm so blessed, and I can't wait to start that. I love the rainy reflection on the pavement. It's one of those things that I just absolutely love. So I can't wait to stitch that one. So I have a Stitchy retreat coming up next month at Brick City in Ocala. It's just a one-day retreat. I thought I could do it for one day to try. I haven't been to any like official retreats. So I thought one day I'll do. My friend Jamie is going to meet me. My daughter's coming along. I think Jamie already has some people in mind to get together with that she met at StitchCon. So I'm excited about that. A little apprehensive because there's a part of me that doesn't know about going and sitting in a room full of strangers and chatting while trying to stitch. But we'll see how it goes. I can do one day and then we'll go from there. But I am looking forward to that, and any excuse to get up there to the shop is a good one. We went to Texas last month on a road trip. I took two of my kids. Just the three of us drove to Texas over 2 days, and we stayed there for 3-4 days in a cabin at an RV resort. That was fun. We had a good time. We actually met this family because my daughter met this girl 2.5-3 years ago during the pandemic lockdown when she was playing Roblox, and she was in a Roblox club, which Roblox is a game online that a lot of kids love to play if you're not familiar with it, and it's played with other players at the same time. So she was in a club that had other kids on Zoom video, and then it was moderated by an adult teacher who was vetted and background checked and everything, just to make sure that they were playing with other kids, and then it was, it was all on the up and up. So she met, a couple kids through that, but there was one girl that she really connected with, and they haven't stopped talking since, and they became best friends, and they do get along so well. They're so good together. The girl's actually 2 years younger than my daughter, but very mature for her age. She's also a homeschooler, and so after they've been begging to meet in person, so I was finally like, you know what, let's make this happen. Let's do this. So I took her, and my middle son went along with us, and it was great. They had a great time. I thought they would be a little shy at first, but they weren't. They picked up immediately when they saw each other. They ran to each other and gave themselves a big hug. And her parents are really, really nice. We spent time with them. We went out a couple times to eat. We went bowling. We went in the pool together. She recommended that I stay in an RV resort there near them, and we rented a cabin there, and it was great. My son actually was really fascinated with the RV resort and has dreams now of starting his own, so he enjoyed walking around and learning all about that because he didn't know such a thing existed, and I had never really been in one before. So that was fun to see all the different setups that people had, and they put little yards out, and that's great. And we had some memorable adventures. We got lost trying to find the friend's house because she lives way out off of these dirt roads, not far from where we were staying, but we had to go off the main highway and drive quite a ways out, and they don't have an address for the GPS, so the father gave me an address to use, but then when I got to that address, there really wasn't anything there but a mailbox, and it turned out it wasn't even their place. I mean, it wasn't their address, so they don't really have an address because they use a P.O. box. So we got to where they said, if you go down the end of this road, we are at the end, and you just go through the gate and keep driving and you'll get to our house. Well, there didn't seem to ever really be an end. I was going literally in circles around this loop, and there were different little turnoffs that had the same name but a different ending. So there was like the same name road, but then there was road and drive and avenue and street, and and so I'm like, well, then I lost cell phone reception. I didn't have cell phone reception. My maps wasn't working, and we were like, I didn't even know how to get back out to the main road at that point. So my son was with me, and he said, well, go, because she had already gone off with them, my daughter. So my son was like, well, go try turning down this other way. So I turned, And then we went down a little ways, and then it became a private drive, and there were all these no trespassing signs all over, security cameras. I believe there was a sign that said trespassers will be shot. I'm not positive, but that's in my memory, is that was my thinking. And you know, it just was very, what's the word, menacing kind of in a way, and lots of warnings. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not driving down there. Central Texas, I'm thinking of da 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 da. So I'm like, no, no, no. So I turned around. I had to do this little short 5-point turn because there were drainage ditches. And so as I'm doing this and I'm getting turned around, my son looked in the rearview mirror and he said, hey, there's a guy on an ATV back there, four-wheeler, that's zooming up the dirt road towards us. And I'm like, oh crap, you know. So I pushed the gas to try, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm in the wrong place and this guy is coming like to yell at me with a gun or something. And then when we looked, and my son realized too when he got closer that it was the friend's father, because we had met him, you know, a couple of times. Obviously, we knew who he was. So he was just coming up to tell us that, hey, you're in the right spot, follow me. And so then I turned around again, and then I went back, and we got there. We got to the house, and the house was nice, and you know, they're on 12 acres on the lake, and it was cool. So very, very neat, and we had a good time with them, and it was very worth it. So that's about all I have to share with you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you being here, and I hope everybody's having a good summer, staying cool out of this ridiculous heat that we've been having all over the world, I believe. And just hope you're having a good time with your people and gearing up for the upcoming fall season. Hopefully sooner than later it will be here. And I will talk to you all again soon.